The Hod King. Tower of Babel, book number 3. That's what we're talking about today. Hope you're doing well. Let's get it sorted out correctly so you can see what it looks like. It's me, it's D. We're back with another reviewed by the D. We're going to go through, look at the whole up and down of this book, and by that I mean a quick rundown of whether or not you should continue reading this series. Spoiler alert, yes, it's imperative that you do that. Don't you know? What we do here is we go over 5 different criteria for the book. We're going to explore the characters. We're going to explore the plot. We explore whether or not this book is readable. How hard is it in terms of words that are used and how confusing it is for your brain hole. The cover art, because I judge a book by the cover, and how I feel about whether or not you should own this book. All right? So again, today we are talking about the Hod King. This is book number 3 in the Tower of Babel series. This one again is a library book, but that doesn't matter. The guy who wrote it is Josiah Bancroft. I forgive myself for my earlier transgressions. I called him a prude. He grows with his literature. He's not that much of a prude, and neither is the main character, Thomas Senlin. All right? Now, let's get one thing right out of the way. This book is not difficult to read. It is a number 2 on the scale. That means that anybody should be able to pick this book up and read it as long as you know more than 800 words. If you're capable of knowing more than 800 words in your lexicon of vocabulary, you should be fine. 800 words is not as much as it sounds like, believe me. Difficulty of words, not that much of a problem, okay? A lot of the concepts are explored within the book itself, explained within the book itself, and the rest of it is really simple and easy. Earlier in my first review, I was like, why is this a sci-fi book? And when I finished it, I figured out exactly why. Because it's a sci-fi book. It's fantasy, science-y, sci-fi. Okay? That's what this book is. The Hod King is a great continuation of the story. We pick up where we left off with Captain Winters and her crew, now aboard the State of Art, which is a brand new ship given to them by the Sphinx. That is a huge portion of the second book, so if you haven't checked out the second one, go through and check out that over here, okay? Let's prop you up here too. You gonna stand up? Let's make you guys stand up there, huh? That's the 4th book, the Tower of Babel. And it fell, just like in the story. How about that? Funny how things work, isn't it? Good catch too, right? Library book. What are they going to do? Anyway, so this one, again, great continuation of the story. We find ourselves finally crawling up the tower after Maria. It took 3 books after we lost her. Well, 2.5 books after we lost her in the first book to get to a point where we now know where she is, what she's doing, how we can possibly save her. And by the way, Mr. Thomas Mudd, Mr. Thomas Senlin, Mr. Do All the Things, headmaster to accountant to shipman to dread pirate to now spy. Thomas is now a spy. How about that? How's that tickle your fancy? You like spy novels? You got one. So, we end up in Pelphia, one of the ringdoms of the actual tower. And the end of the tower, the fall of the Tower of Babel is nice because it gives you all of the ringdoms, which we find out is not just 6. It's actually 64. 64 different ringdoms in the Tower of Babel. How about that? That's insane. Insane how tall this thing is. And it just seems to go on forever. That information is not just contained in the fourth book, I'm pretty sure, though I did complete both of them within a few days of each other. So I could be misconstruing them. But yeah, this tower, it's huge. Just like the growth of these two books. We suffer massive bookflation when it comes to the extension of this story, okay? So, just to give you kind of an idea, the Hod King comes in at 567 pages, all right? The last one, I'm pretty sure, came in at 400 plus. So we're growing exponentially as each book goes. I wish I had the other two with me right now to prop up, but again, here we are. And it's worth it. It's a fun read. I couldn't put it down. Every single novel got better and got extremely interesting as we went up the tower. So excellent, excellent work, Josiah. You've written a wonderful series. So, spoiler alert again, if you think you should own this book, I absolutely think you should read these books and own them. They are great. Look at the cover art. The cover art is fantastic. You've got Maria climbing out of the tower, trying to get to the top, where she promised Thomas she would meet him the last time that they ever spoke to each other. Beautiful, beautiful writing, beautiful artwork, strong female characters. We could segue into the characters. We've talked a lot about the other stuff. Another good catch there. And I'm going to actually lay that one down so I don't bend the back cover. A lot of strong female characters in this novel, this whole series. I think that's a big complaint from a lot of people in like the fantasy world, is that female characters are not very well done. Well, Mr. Josiah Bancroft has written you a lovely troupe of female characters that have their strengths and weaknesses, but they are powerful emotionally, physically. Their abilities are very fit to each of their specific types of person. Great, great, great characters. Valletta has become amazing. Huge character development for Valletta in this novel. So if you're a fan of our daredevil, our always out on a limb risk taker, our little ADHD scout, you're going to love Valletta in this one. When she gets to Pelphia, all hell breaks loose. Maria, in and of herself, not a Mary Sue, not even at all. In fact, she has a great story that develops further in this as well. In the very first book, it talks about her playing the piano. That's expounded upon in this one and to great effect as to how to bring about storytelling in this particular novel. Thomas is really the only main male lead in this. Adam is not in this book at all, and I forgive myself for saying that Adam should be dead. He's not someone who should be dead. He's not dead. He doesn't die in these two books. He doesn't come back until way later, and you'll find out as you go through. But outside of that, you've got a couple of other male characters who popped up in the baths and in the very beginning of the parlor and whatnot. Not the parlor, but the very first and third levels of the tower back in the first book. Fingal and John Tarot. And then, of course, you have the Hod King, or the person himself trying to create the revolution, which is Luke Marat. He is the antagonist in this particular tale from this point to the end of the series. He is the main antagonist of this series. Very interesting character. Very good take on the revolutionary turned tyrant type of character. And really, again, one of the only other male characters that are worth a damn at all within this whole story. So, wonderful, wonderful continuation of it. The characters still get a 4 out of 5 from me. Honestly, with the character development that happens in this one, 4.5 out of 5. They've developed extremely well. The plot, as I've kind of alluded to, is them going up the tower into Pelphia to rescue Maria. 5 out of 5. That's one of my first ones. 5 out of 5. This is so engaging and so worth reading. I would love to forget it so that I could do it all over again. That's how much I liked this particular book. The continuation was fantastic. The ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster of what's happening, fantastic. 5 out of 5. Cover art, like we talked about earlier, absolutely beautiful cover art. You would love to pick this up and look at it all the time. The colors changing yet again. We had red, then we had blue with the arm of the Sphinx. Now we've got purple to represent Maria and her troubles. And then we go into the golden Luke Marat, one of the Wakemen of the Sphinx. The Sphinx turns out to be a very interesting character as well. And just, again, as our author here was able to grow his story, he really grew it and cultivated it and took care of it. And I think overall you would enjoy it. If this book had more popularity, I would be very happy for the author. So let's try and make that happen. Because should you own this book? Absolutely. Without going into too much more detail about what happens in this book, I absolutely think that you should own book 3 and all of them, books 1 through 4 of the Tower of Babel. You should read these books, explore them, enjoy them, absorb them, think about how these characters grow and change, and you might even change along with them. Because I'll tell you, I have a lot more respect for the author Josiah Bancroft than I did before. I was very disrespectful to him before, and frankly, I shouldn't have been, because I read what I'm now looking back at, a not so good author. Django Rexler and How to Become the Dark Lord or Die Trying. I believe that is... no, that's techno-feudalism. Right here. Django Rexler, not the best author in the world. He's kind of lazy. Kind of lazy. But still a fun read. It didn't take away from how fun the read was. Let's just put the book in backwards, D. Fantastic work. Anyway, chugging right along. Go out to the bookstore or your library. Maybe search that ocean of PDFs that somebody found one time that may or may not have these things. If you love them, go out and support them. I got my copies from the library. I will own all 4 of these books before the end of the year. I will want to share the story with my kids as they grow up. It is definitely not over and above what a teenager would be able to read compared to a lot of the crap that's out there right now. A+ work. Fantastic. 4.5 out of 5 on this one. Fantastic book. Go out and get it. Tower of Babel series. Gobble it up.